And I also love that you guys are doing this as a couple. And I know a lot of people like dream of that kind of relationship, or that, everybody has to do their own way, but you don't see a lot of it successfully done. So I'd love to go into more of that a little bit too, because how is that combination? Because I know people are craving that. So I definitely want to talk more about the heart space, but what about working together and this coupling, and can you contribute to that?
You go.
No, it's let me just start by saying that it's a journey. It really is a journey, and it's not about to me, it's not about the destination. It's not something that you want to get to. It's not even about the journey. It's about how you show up on the journey. To me, that is the most important thing, because for example, for me, early on in the relationship, when we first met, like Madalina said, we were both unconscious, that, and I came on with my own patterns from my childhood and my own wounds and all of that, and when she had her experience of the back pain that put her on this path, she started going more and more into this, what we call now heart consciousness. And at one point I realized, I was living with a conscious woman. And for a man to live with a conscious woman, it's not easy, especially if you're not conscious, if I'm not conscious, right? And so let me put it this way, there was no place to hide. There was no place to hide. Like I was trying all my winning formulas, all my, patterns and all that. No way. There was no place to hide with her. So, which was great. It was great. It was hard as well, because, my ego always wanted to step in and defend and all these things. Right. But then at one point I had to make that choice, for myself. It's not just about, being in the relationship or creating a successful relationship, but it's more about, who do I want to be? Right? How am I going to grow through this? And so, one point, I out of that Kensho moment, for me, I started growing myself into more of a better version of myself. And so, then it became easier and easier. Now, I'm not saying that, it's always easy. And this is something that we always say, living a heart-centered life is not about being in your heart and being in that inner space all the time. We're human beings. We're going against, I always love to say this, we're swimming against, decades of patterns, right? So even though, let's say, a moment of awakening can happen in a flash, the deconditioning process takes a lifetime, right? So it's just about coming back. It's about realizing that, oh, wait a second, I've left myself. I'm not in my heart anymore. I'm not me. We always want to become more of us. We don't want to become someone else, someone other than we are. We want to become more of who we are, doing the unlayering and getting down to that core self, that authentic, honest self. And so this is how, it is right now. It's always this journey of coming back, leaving ourselves and then coming back. And through that leaving and going, we are growing together.
It's the relationships that we are in is always a mirror of ourselves, like our relationships is a mirror of ourselves as well. And so and the best relationships, the most conscious relationships that we can have is the more that we can heal ourselves and love ourselves. And, from this really deep compassion, non-judgment, the more we are able to do that and connect with our truth, then we can show up to the relationship in that way, from this truth and responsibility and, and love and consciousness. If the partners are committed to their own selves this way, then that's how the love just happens without even like an effort. I mean, there is an effort because every time we get into something, I realize, oh, here I am. What am I bringing in? Oh, okay. Like each of us are doing that how can I be honest here, you know? But it's true, Gina, because in relationships, you know, depending if people are committed to growth itself, then it works, because even though you have some differences, you're riding that wave. But if some people want to go much higher and the other doesn't, then there's going to be a mismatch there, and you have to follow your heart with that. You cannot come down in order to match. Like whoever's expanding in whatever direction that is, if that sinking is not there, then there's going to be an obstruction of the self. So, you know, at the end of the day, we all know in our hearts